I am so excited about this guest speaker. I mean, this to me, when given the opportunity, when I had to reach out to him, I actually got nervous to talk to him. And I could talk to anybody else and I wouldn't get nervous, but this man, what he did and his willingness to sacrifice himself and what he did in Afghanistan, to me, it's an absolute honor to share the floor, to be here with him. And what he did, we ought to be extremely grateful for men and women like Flo and what he's done. And he was awarded the Medal of Honor, the greatest award that you could get in the military. And for what he did, he deserves a warm welcome. And I would love to see you stand, rise to your feet, and give him a round of applause. Flo, we appreciate you. Thank you.
It was a Wednesday. We were going to the security meeting, and so it happened every Wednesday, same time. And obviously, I led a team. The highest ranking officer in that part of the Afghanistan at the time was Colonel Mingus, now Lieutenant General Mingus, and Commander Sergeant Griffin. And so probably like we'd rotate once every 6 weeks. Maybe we'd go 2 weeks in a row and not go for 8 weeks, whatever that was. We'd go to that meeting. But it was a really important meeting because one of the most kinetic places in Afghanistan. And so the day before, on August 7th, the boss was having this LTE, and he had all these leaders there, and he called me and calls me into the office. He's like, hey, I want to bring all these folks to the security meeting tomorrow. So I'm all frustrated, obviously. Man, I got to change my air request, and now I got to look at the whole security measures. So I called the unit where we're going to fly helicopters in. You fly your helicopters, you disembark, and then you walk 1,200 meters outside the wire in a Sadabad to the security compound, or to the governor's compound to do the security meeting. So I called this guy, this major from the 101st, and that was with 4FID, and I said to him, I said, hey sir, tomorrow I'm bringing 2 brigade commanders, 3 battalion commanders, an Afghan general, 2 command sergeant majors, 2 GS-15 State Department individuals, and then my 6th security requests an escort of 15 people. And so what I'm requesting is 15 soldiers to escort us when we leave the wire to the meeting. Standard, always happen. This guy says to me, yeah, I hear you, but we're going to clear the route about 20 minutes before you get there, and so I can't give you anybody. I'm thinking, is he crazy? Like, is this the first time it's ever happened? So I put him on mute. I had the adjutant. I said, hey, listen, I'm going to repeat my request, and this guy's going to be really angry. Can't really say what he said because of y'all. But so on mute, go through the whole thing, and yeah, he did what I expect him to do. But I figured he was going to have a bad day. We all have bad days over there. He's going to sleep on it and realize that his boss's boss is coming. And last time I checked, every time it was every single moment in the military, when you hear like the boss's boss is coming, that's the time you find your best uniform, you shave, and you just act like you've been doing something, right? And you say, hi, sir, la, la, la. And then when they leave, you're like, okay, back to reality. So when we landed that day, they were all gone. And I remember thinking, like, this is not happening. Because the reality was, my boss, he put that on me, right? I run that security team. So he's walking to his meeting. He flew all the way over there. He's going to go to his meeting. So at that moment, I started thinking, okay, you need to adjust. You need to adapt. And that's what we do really well in the military. You just look at the situation. You don't freak out and say, this is over. You figure out, okay, what's the next logical step to mitigate this situation? And so I had my number 2, Sergeant First Class Brink, run to the Afghan National Army guys that were smoking cigarettes. And I said, bring them. But we didn't trust them. So I told them, I was like, hey, you put them all up front, tell them to spread out so we appear bigger. I wanted to just appear bigger. Then I started running around that base like a madman, trying to find anyone that was American that I could pull and bring into this patrol. As the boss is walking towards the wire, outside the wire. So I found one guy that used to work for me in my previous platoon, and he was on his day off, so obviously he was very happy when I told him to gear up. He looked at me and he lost a butt cheek, so he's really pissed at me still to this day. And then I found another guy who was a civilian. He was a cook And I always tell this story. No one believes me except the people that were there because they're like, I don't know. How did you do this? And I looked at him. I said, are you American? He says, yes. I said, do you want to go help us? He's like, sure. I was like, do you have a weapon? He's like, I'll find one. Don't know how he found one, but he did. And and so next thing you know, we have this random guy with us. None of the bosses are asking questions. I'm like, I'm gonna hear from them after this. But we walked outside a wire, and about 700 meters into our movement, it got really quiet. I don't know if any of y'all deployed atmospherics. You just feel it, you sense it, especially if you've been in a firefight. You know, spidey sensors start to kick in, and no kids, nothing, just eerie quiet. And that's in the middle of the day, and that's when I saw 2 motorcycles coming really fast towards us. So we're about to cross this bridge, and they created a diversion. And the whole point was everybody gets fixated towards motorcycles, and there was 2 structures right before the bridge, and that's where the suicide bombers were housed. And as the motorcycles came towards us, they came out. What probably saved our lives is the fact that, one, I had the best team you could ever ask for, and they reacted like professionals immediately. But 2, the Afghan National Army guys reacted the right way too. We put them up front because we didn't trust them. At the time of the war, green on blues happened all the time where those guys who are supposed to be friendly turn on you and shoot you. So at least if you're going to shoot me, you'd have to do a full movement, and I'd have eyes on you. And I'm pretty sure I'm a better shot than they are. But in this case, when he saw the motorcycles, he reacted to it. And he raised his rifle, started screaming in Dari, which forced actually the first guy on a bike to fall. And at that moment, I was looking at my number 2, and he turned around to make sure that I was tracking what was happening in front of us. And as he turned around, he started looking to my left, which forced me to look to my left because I hadn't seen him. And when I saw that there was a guy, 17, 18 years old maybe, best, walking backwards parallel to us, and he kind of did a movement like this, and then boom, started going towards us. That's when I realized, man, this is not good. I couldn't shoot him because I couldn't see a weapon. So I just did we call it the flow escalation of force, which is I sprinted towards him, screaming at him, all sorts of things. And when I got to him, he never looked at me. Not the whole time. Always looked past me. It's freaky. I can still see his eyes. And so I hit him as hard as I could with my rifle across the chest. And when I hit him across the chest, I realized he's wearing something. And so then I let go of my rifle and I had my sling, and I grabbed him. And that's when I knew he was wearing a suicide vest. So I'm holding this vest, and I'm turning left. I was like, bomb. And the only thing I could think about was I got to get him away from everybody as quickly as possible, as far away as possible. So I started going with him, and I threw him. And he landed chest first and detonated. The crazy part about that story is that he detonated at my feet, and he threw me 30 feet. I lost half my calf. My whole thing's fused. I'm deaf in the left ear, and I had a pretty severe TBI. But I lived. My friends were further away than probably where the bar is at from here. That's how far away they were. And maybe a little closer. And that's where the ball bearings went. So the guy that detonated at my feet, I lived, and they were that far away, and they were killed. Welcome to war. There ain't no rules. Nothing's fair. You be the best of the best, top tier 1 operator, and the 17-year-old kid that's blind shooting will have a stray bullet go right to you and end you. Or you could be literally standing in front of a bomb and magically live. Whatever you want to call it. You know, your faith plays a part, luck plays a part, whatever that is. That was a hard pill for me to swallow for a long time. That day happened, in my personal opinion, this is Flo's opinion, because of complacency and an incompetent individual. Remember the 15 guys that I asked for? He walked the route. He did it. He did it 15 minutes prior. All y'all that serve, when you clear an area, if you leave it, it's no longer clear. Right? You know what the bad guys did? They just stayed in their house. Target of opportunity. That was their motto that fighting season. Spectacular attacks. So when they saw us come in with all these people, and trust me, you see when a colonel's walking, you know when an Afghan general is walking from a mile away, right? And they're like, wow, 6 dudes, really 8 dudes protecting them? This is too good to be true, and they went. So I don't watch Homeland anymore because the group that attacked us is Haqqani Network. And if you watch the Homeland TV show, I think season 3 or 4, that's when I stopped watching. She lets Haqqani, go. And I was like, I can't watch this shit anymore. It's too personal. But we lost those guys. But on August 17th, one of the most impactful special operations mission happened in Afghanistan, that part of the world. And we eliminated that entire cell and group of individuals. They absolutely devastated that group. And they did it on the Pakistani border when we couldn't do any operations before. They said, screw it. And so, yeah, toughest day of my life. But what I call the toughest day of my life is nothing compared to what Pam, what Heather, and what Cammie had to go through and continue to go through. So, listen, reality is, I'd do it all over again. Reality is, we love what we did. We understood the risk. You understand that you might not come home. The real reality is that it's not us that really pay the price, it's our families. But in the end, this is why we're different. Because we have all this. Think about that for a second. We have all this. We have TVs. We have an opportunity. We have options. We have choices. But when it comes down to it, we still serve. We still do it. We still deploy. We still sacrifice. We still put our families in positions they don't want to be in. That's why we are different than anyone else in the world. I give props to Ukrainians, what they're doing right now. Gosh, and probably some of you here, I want to be there. They motivate the heck out of me. I want to fight with those type of people. But I have no doubt in the world that if you come to our country, we ain't leaving, bro. First of all, where are we going to go? Mexico? The Canadians are definitely going to close the borders faster than anything you've ever seen. We're going to stay and we're going to fight. And that's the thing that's a reminder. That's why I wanted to bring that up earlier. And the threat is real because we're humans. Welcome to being a human being. Welcome to living on Earth. Throughout history, there's always been a group of really bad people. But you know why we win? Because the people like us in this room are willing to walk the walk when evil comes. All right. We talk about investment properties. Say, thanks a lot, man. Appreciate being here.